In this video, we are going to create a propeller for a small solar-powered boat. And the particular tutorial that I'm going to help you with is to make a blade similar to the one that you see here on the screen. You can see the large, curve-shaped, maybe a little bit difficult to create using a swept blend. So we're going to use some different features here today. First thing we want to do is open up Creo Elements, and I'm going to close the web browser. And I want to set a working directory. I'm going to go into the computer, click on my folder, and I have several folders already created. You may want to create one for this class or this project. And in here I have a folder created for Propeller, so I'm going to highlight that and say OK. Next thing I want to do is go to File and New, or you can simply just click on the New icon. We're going to create a part, and you can name your part. I'm going to call it Prop, and hit Enter. Next thing I'd like to do is set my units. Our 3D printer is going to print much easier if you set your units to metric and into millimeters. So here's how you'll do that. File, and if you go down to Prepare, Model Properties, and the second one down here has units, and right now it's set to inches, so I'm going to change this to millimeters. And you notice that there's two options. It doesn't matter which one, as long as one of them is millimeters. Click on Set, say OK, and close, and close. So now I'm ready to draw in millimeters. Alright, first thing I want to do is create a sketch, and all of the functions I'm going to do here in this tutorial use external sketches, which means that I'm going to sketch something and then perform an operation on it. Okay, so I'll go up here to Sketch, and I want to select one of the work planes here. It doesn't matter which one right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, which is my front, and I will say Sketch. Notice that my screen auto-rotates. If yours does not do that, come right up here to Sketch View, and it'll rotate for you. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is go ahead and draw a small little angled line that will be the pitch of my blade. Alright, now please understand that the units I'm using here are not anything specific. You should have exact dimensions, and you should do a little bit of research and sketch before you select your dimensions. So my dimensions are completely arbitrary, and I'm going to go in here, and the first thing I want to do is select a center line. And I'm going to go right here to the XYZ origin, and you notice I get this orange dashed line. I want to make sure it goes straight up and down. Click again, and now there's a little dashed line there that is my center line. I'm going to scroll into this area here, and I'm going to go to the Line tool, and I'm going to draw a small angled line. Hit the middle mouse button to close that operation, and you can see I have the little line right here. I'll go up to the Select tool, and now you can see I have some dimensions, and these are quite large, 78 millimeters and 21 millimeters. Again, make sure you have your dimensions set up. This 21 right here is actually going to be the center of the hub, so this is going to be where our propeller shaft is. So if you know the diameter of your propeller shaft, or the size of the little stub that comes out of the motor, this would be a good dimension to set for that. So I'm just going to set this to 10, again completely arbitrary. And I'm going to set this one to, how about 18, just something a little bit larger. And again, the angle is up to you. Obviously, different angles will give a different performance for the blade. But I'm going to go ahead and just make this 45 right down the middle. Not 445, but 45. And hit Enter. Alright, so I have my small angled line, my dimensions. This looks good. My sketch is now complete, and I will say OK. And if I go out here now, if I hold down the middle mouse button and rotate, you can see my angled line, and over here will be my center line. So I want to revolve this. So I come up here to the shapes, and I go to Revolve, and you see I get this large orange revolve. Alright, I don't want the whole 360 degrees, so I'm going to come up here to Options, and under Side 1, I'm going to select 90, and I'm going to go down here to Side 2, and I'm also going to make that 90. Alright, that should be all set now, and I'll hit my green check mark to accept it. Next thing I would like to do is work on the curvature of the actual propeller blade. So I'm going to put in another sketch, and last time I worked in the front view, and this time I'm going to click on sketch and I'm going to select the top view. So if I hover over the work plane, you'll see that it says top. I'll click it and say sketch, and again it auto rotates. If yours does not auto rotate, come up here to the sketch view and click on that and it'll auto rotate. And actually we don't want to use the top, we'd actually like to use the side. Alright, so I created a sketch that I don't want to use, so I'm going to hit cancel and I'll say yes. And I actually want to use the front, not the top. So I'll do sketch again, and I'd like to use the front work plane. So I'll come over here. Alright, we used the front to begin with, and now I'm going to use the right side. Alright, so again, some different names for the planes. Apologize for the extra steps here, but we're going to use the right side work plane and sketch, and it auto rotates. Okay, so what I would like to do is draw a curve. Over here where my cursor is, this is the top, alright, or the outside of the propeller, and your boat would be over here on the right hand side, and the water would be pushing this way towards the left. So I'm going to create a curve, and the easiest thing to do is click on arc, and I'm going to start up here somewhere. Again, I don't quite have any dimensions specifically, but I'm going to start up here, and then I'm going to come down here. I don't want to go below the little angled revolve that we used. I want to just stay inside it. I'll go here, and you can see I can flex my curve, my arc. And I want to keep it inside my shape. I don't want to dip below. I'd like to create just inside, and that looks pretty good. Alright, we're all set there. My sketch is now complete. You could add dimensions by clicking on select and updating any of these dimensions if you would like. Again, I don't have any particular dimensions, so I'm just going to say OK. And now, again, hold down the middle mouse button and rotate. You see that arc is there. And we would like to extrude that arc. So I come over here to the extrude button, and you see it gives me a preview. And again, I'm holding down my middle mouse button to rotate, and I want to drag this way out here to the right side. Alright, and you can go as far as you would like. This is basically going to be the width of one of your blades. So the farther the better. Again, I don't have any particular dimension, so I'll click right there, and I will accept. Alright, so next thing I would like to do is merge these two pieces. So I will click on one of them, and it highlights green. Hold down the control button, and click on the second part. Now you notice they're both green. Come up here to the merge button. Looks good. And then say accept. Alright, notice that it has now cut itself out around the curve that I created. And now we're ready for the next step. So now I'm actually going to draw the shape of the blade. So I'll go back into sketch. And then I would like to this time now use that top work plane. So come over here to where it says top. Say sketch. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and draw my blade over here, the shape of my blade. Alright, I'm going to use a center line to help me create my blade. And I'm going to come over here. This is my one of my work plane lines. So I'm going to come over here and snap this so it goes vertical. Alright, and then you can use any tool you'd like. You could use spline. I'm going to use arc to start with. And right here where the curve and the center line that I just drew connect, I'd like to start there, but notice that it doesn't click on it. Okay, so what I'd like to do is create something called a reference. So click on the select tool, hold down the right click button, and then the reference button will show up. Okay, we'll move this up of the way. I want to click on this curved edge right here. Okay, and see how it says edge? I'm going to click on that, and now there's a small dashed line in there, and I'll say close. Now when I select the arc tool, I'll come over here and notice that it snaps right to that intersection. So I'll click here, and now I'm going to create my blade design. Okay, alright, you can see I can flex this curve in all sorts of dimensions and directions. So I'm going to come over here now, and I'll come way out here. Okay, we're getting just a random type design. Maybe from here now. Maybe I want to come over here, back to where the two intersect, and maybe I just want to something like that. I don't know, just some crazy shape. Okay. Now you notice maybe this isn't exactly what you want. So if I want to get rid of anything right now, it's all highlighted green. I could just simply hit delete, and let's try that one more time. Alright, just for some practice, I didn't like the way the shapes look, so I'm going to click, and then we'll click again, click, and I don't know, maybe we'll come way down here. Don't go outside that blue shape because that is the end of our part. And we'll click around here a little bit. Okay. I don't know. Looks a little bit better. I like that one better than the first one. So if this is the way you'd like it, again, you can hit the select tool. You could change some of these dimensions, or since it's all highlighted green, just simply delete them all. If you want to delete one particular segment, come on up here to delete segment, and then notice when I go over to each segment, it'll highlight green. You could delete one or all of those parts. Okay. I'm going to come in here before I leave. I don't like this sharp edge. I want to round this out a little bit. So I'll go to arc, and I'll select just two areas, and I'm going to bring that in just a little bit so it's curved. All right, nice smooth curved surface. Now what I'd like to do is delete these two. So go to delete segment, delete, and delete. And if I zoom out, that looks a little bit better. All right, so I'm all set. That looks good to me. I'm going to say OK. And now what I'd like to do, all right, if you notice my little green shape is floating there, and what I would like to do now is trim, all right, trim out the part. Before I can trim though, I have to extrude. So I'll click on extrude, and notice that the extrusion goes up. Okay, well I'd like it to go in both directions, up and down. So over here in the drop down, you click into the second one, and it'll extrude on both sides of the work plane. And again, just drag this really, really far away. Okay, so make sure it takes care of all the areas. Looks good. Say accept. All right, now I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I need to just get this center part. I just want this for my blade. All right, so what we'll do next is trim. So what I'll do first is click this curved surface. Notice that it will highlight green for me. And then go to trim. Click on the extrusion that we just created. And then there's this purple arrow. It's pointing out. I want it to point in. And the next thing I would like to do is come over to options, and where it says keep trimming surface, uncheck that. Say accept. And now we have our curved center of our blade, and then our blade itself. Okay? Looks good. All right, I want to add a few more features here. This is a pretty sharp edge right here. So what I'm going to do is add a round. Right here is the round option. Click on the edge where the two surfaces come together, and I'm just going to drag these two squares to something that I like. You could come up here and type in a number if you'd like, maybe 1.25, and accept. That's kind of huge, all right? And see my keyboard added a few dimensions or digits. 1.2, oops, 1.25, and say accept. And that looks good. So we'll say the green check mark. Okay, so now that surface is curved, looks pretty nice. And the next thing I would like to do is pattern this. Right now I have one blade, and you have to make up your mind on how many blades you would like. Okay, this particular option here has 3 blades. You could have 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever you would like. So I'm going to have 3. So I'm going to go up here to pattern, and notice that the pattern is grayed out, but I can go to pattern and go to geometry pattern. Next thing I would like to do, you notice that there's a small dashed line here in the center, and it's called axis A1. I'll click on that. Alright, and what I'd like to do is come over here to where it says direction and use axis. Alright, and it took out my center line. So I'm going to go back, I'll click on the center line one more time. And if you look up here, right now it's set for 4, and each of them will be 90 degrees apart. I'm going to go with 3 blades. And what I would like to do, I'd like them to be equal, and we can all do some basic math and figure that out, or why not have the computer do it and just click on this one here. Alright. Each of those is still set to 90, so don't really like that. So what if I said 360 and enter? Now they're all equally spaced. Okay. I will say accept. Oh, alright. Well, this only patterned my curves. Okay, so I must not have had everything selected that I wanted. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to delete this. What I'd like to do is just delete the pattern if possible. So we'll see what happens here. Alright, so I need to get this whole part put together. Alright. So how can I get all of these? You've got to make sure it highlights all green. Okay, make sure that this edge, the curve, and the blade are all highlighted green. Now we'll go back to pattern, geometry pattern. Remember we want to use the axis, and then find the center line. I only want 3 of these. Alright. And let's see how this looks. There we go. So now we have 3 blades. Looks a lot better. Alright, so we're getting there, but we need something in the center to hold all this together. Alright, so what I'm going to do is something called a fill. So what I'll do is come up here, and there's the fill option. And what I would like to do next is it's asking for some references and a sketch. So what I would like to do is select this top surface, and it'll rotate for me. And I'm going to create the circle or cylinder right in the middle where the propeller shaft will come into contact with the blades. So I want to draw a couple of circles right now. So again, I want to use the reference tool because what I would like to do is have it snap right to that curved surface. So the way you do that, hold down the right mouse button, go to references, and then click on that edge. And you can click on all of them if you'd like, and they'll create some references for you. Say close, circle, go to the center, and if I draw out, notice that it snaps. Boom, snaps right to it. I'd also like a center circle for the propeller shaft, so set that up. And again, you can change the dimensions. You can see there's a dimension here of 7.9. Maybe I want to make that 8, nice round number. And that looks good. If you're all set, accept the sketch. And then in the fill, now it's asking, are you ready to go? And just simply say yes. Okay, so now I have a center hub, if you will, to hold all that together. And I need to now merge all 3 of these. So again, when I do this, I got to make sure that I get everything in green. So as I go around, I need to select all these. So if I select this, now it's all green. Hold down the control button. Click on the next one, it's all green. Click on the third one, all green. Click in the circle in the center, all green. And then simply go up to merge. Everything looks pretty good. Let's see what happens here. We may get an error. And we did. It says feature failed to regenerate. So we're going to cancel. And say cancel. And let's just cancel the whole thing out for a second. What I would suggest doing, just to make this real easy for yourself, let's get one, hold down the control button, get the second one, and then get the center circle. So right now those three are highlighted. This one down here is not. Say merge, accept. Now we get the error again. So what you're going to need to do is just find the right first few that you need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this one. Oops, now we got some errors because we got 3 copy geometries. I don't want to do that. So all I want to do is just select this. Alright, so we're running into a few errors here. Alright, there we go. I got it green. Hold down control. Let's do the center. And how about this one? And merge. And accept. Alright, that time it worked. So now what we would like to do is let's click that center circle. Notice that this all highlights green now. Hold down control. Come out here. Click on that extra blade that was not merged and merge it. Looks good. We'll accept, and now there's no errors. Why we get those errors, not quite sure, but now they're all merged together. So just a little bit of trial and error, and you'll figure stuff out. Alright, I'd like to create a little bit of a round because I do want water to roll around the blade, or roll around the edge of the hub and then onto the blade. So I'm going to round this edge here. So go back to round, click on that surface, and again, you could drag this as big or as small as you would like. Say accept. Okay, now we lost the rest of this. So what we may need to do is delete that round, and then it comes back. So if you can add that round, go for it. If not, no big deal. Alright. It may be because of this large gap here that we were not allowed to add it. So some of you might be able to do it. Ours didn't work this time. Not a big deal. Last thing I would like to do is thicken this part. Alright, so how can we do that? Well, we want to find the thicken tool, which is here, and it's grayed out right now. So what I'd like to do is click on the whole part. If I can get it green, there we go. And then go to thicken. And now you notice that there's an orange highlighted area that gives me a thickness. And right now it's 0.99 millimeters, so maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 millimeters. Alright, whatever you'd like. Alright. And it tells me that I have invalid characters. So make sure that you have this set up to something that's acceptable. Alright, the geometry may, the computer may tell you what the geometry can and can't do. So that looks good to me, and we'll accept it. And now I have a blade with some thickness, and I'm all set. Alright, last thing you might want to do is actually make your propeller shaft. So what I would do if I want to make the propeller shaft is simply extrude, and I don't want to put the propeller shaft here. This is the outside, so I'd like to put it inside here. And I'll click on this surface. Looks pretty good. Right click for references. Click on the outside. Alright, say close. And let's draw yourself one circle. And then draw another one again. Now again, notice that it's not snapping. So let's go back and let's add one more reference. Alright, and how can we get that reference in there? Properties. Alright, for some reason not letting me. No, I don't want to exit Sketcher. I'd like to add one more reference if possible, but it's not letting me right now. So let's see what we can do. The idea would be to simply hold down the right click. There we go, and now reference is there. Why? Not quite sure. Alright, and I would like to select the little circle right there. Okay, say close. I'm going to go back here. Remember this button over here, sketch view, click on it, and let's draw one more circle that is to that size. Again, this circle should be the diameter of the small little nub that comes off the motor. Say OK. And there's my propeller shaft. And now I can set this to any length I want so that it can go through your boat and go all the way up to the motor. And if you like the way that looks, say accept. And there you go. You've got yourself a little propeller blade. Alright, make sure that you save. Alright, and it's all set going into that folder that I wanted. The other thing we would like to do is set this up for the 3D printer. So go to File, Save As, and now what we would like to do is, down here where it says Part, scroll down till you find Stereolithography. You may have to scroll down a little ways, there's lots of options. Click on that, say OK, and now this little pop-up menu comes up. Chord height, type in 0 and enter. The computer will do the math for you, and this is allowing us to make a smooth blade. Alright, and then go to the second one, say 0, enter, and the computer again will do the math for you. Say apply, and you'll see there that we've got the red pattern on there. That's how the 3D printer will set it up, very smooth surface. You can scroll in there and see how smooth it'll get. Some computers and 3D printers will let you get smoother, but this is the setting for ours. And we'll say OK. And now it's going to save that stereolithography file, and that's which file will print on the 3D printer. Good luck with this, and if you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.